Okay, so first video from series perspective for beginners. So I will be in this series I will explain everything and give homework so you can really understand every aspect through practice, because it's important to make some studies. It's important to understand perspective through appliance of principles. It's not enough just to listen or read theory. You need to do it. So first of all, you need to understand idea of three axes. It's notorious XYZ. What is it? So we have, when we have h and width, right? It's called 2D. It's two dimensions, like h and width. So if I draw something in two dimensions, like a box, for example, square, so it have only width and h. So we have box like this, just a square. It's flat. It's two-dimensional, right? So 3D is when we add third dimension. Third dimension, which stands for depth, right? So for like distance, depth, and it usually indicates as z-axis. So it's when we do this 2D form, we add this depth, right? So it became three-dimensional. Let's write here 3D. So these three axes, they represent three dimensions. It's like three directions or like coordinates. So what does it mean? Like in a drawing, we have lines which represent edges or borders, right? So later we'll explain all this, like unpack. And also these edges and borders, they indicate surfaces. So if we take cube, let's say we have cube. What visually cube is made of? Cube is made of edges and planes, right? Edges and surfaces. Hello, Daniel. So these edges, right? You can notice that this is set of parallel lines. So if I look like on a cube from top, we can see like, okay, here we have two parallel lines, and here we have two parallel lines. So, and so we have three set of parallel lines. It's like one set is like I already shown. It's a vertical. Second set, it stands for which, so it's like x. And the third set, it's z, right? So three set of four lines. Like together, they create this kind of like a framework of a cube. So also you can see it's kind of important to remember this kind of principles. It's like we have these planes, they relate to axis as kind of like a wheel and axle, right? So if we have like let's say this kind of wheel, right, and we have this axle kind of going perpendicularly, like 90-degree angle. So getting like piercing through this wheel. So in this system, it's important to remember this relationship with axis. Let's call this to right axis, right? So this is three axis, and relationship between axis and plane, this like surface, it's axis. Let's say if here we have z axis, right? So perpendicular plane, like a wheel, like a wheel to this on this axle. It will be same plane, like z axis and the z plane. So or like this, right? So this is the plane, and this will be z axis if we have like a box here. Storage plane. So here, like if we follow this structure here, because I already showed direction of this z axis this way, right? So z plane will be that way to be like perpendicularly. And in the same manner, other three planes. So if I break down box cube into elements, so what do we have? Okay, yes. Let's make it so. It's kind of like explode view of box. So we have two planes of z and four edges of z, and then we have like four edges of x and two planes of x. And same we will have like two planes for y and four edges for y. So it's three set of lines and three set of planes. So it's always x, y, z. So так, next. So then, like, kind of like when you understand this, we talk about box logic. So box logic is like you should to be also aware of this thing is like everything is have this kind of um, properties of a box. So like what is in a box here, like for like this y plane top and bottom, x plane is left and right, and z plane it's front and back, right? So it's like we're constantly like a viewer, observer is like always contained within a box, because you always have around you, you have like top surface, let's say top here, you have bottom, you have left, you have right, and you have front and back. So you see, it's like help us to understand space. It's like this how we perceive space. Like you can move forward, you can move back, and like when we talk about some other kind of direction, it will be like in between something, right? With all these angles, it will be like this kind of diagonal direction. It is like um, between front and right, somewhere like diagonally, or like moving back to the left and stuff like this. So it's always we operate within just three directions, three coordinates. And here it's interesting also moment is like we're talking about box simultaneously as an object and as space. So it's a both. It's a both object and space. So it's just imagine like when we're talking about space, it's like a box in which is so big that you cannot see where is the ceiling, you cannot see its sides. You just see it's somewhere there, and maybe kind of like you can imagine limits, and we always have them as a concept. So for example, imagine you go and you're standing in a field, like here is you, let's say standing in a field, like you have sombrero, so you see only like horizon line. So, and what happened, right? You don't see sides of a box, but it's still like you standing on a ground, you're standing on a surface, right? So you can imagine kind of plan beneath you. Then you experience, kind of perceive this space above you, right? So it also serves kind of as this top surface, and you can kind of like just define like choose which part h you consider for yourself. Like, for example, if there is some airplane flying in the sky, then you say like, okay, I will make this kind of surface for my calculation. I will say like, okay, there is a plane, and like uh, airplane kind of moving within this surface on this direction. You see kind of like what I mean. And same, you will here you will perceive like there is something left from you and right from you and front and back. So it's kind of space itself is a box, no matter how it looks. And if you see some object like no, like a coal, like smooth, it will be not object, it's animal, but for us it's like formally it's an object. Same, we always have this idea of front, back, sides, also top and bottom of this object. Okay, so we always apply this box logic for everything around us. So subconsciously, and as artists, you need to use it consciously. So this kind of principle, it's also like a funny image of it. It's like you can imagine it's like you can pack anything into box for delivery, kind of, let's say like this. You tape it and it's ready for delivery. So within we have some like a bicycle. So then important here is about relationship between like observer and subject. So this is what we are talking about when we talking about kind of horizon line, eye level. So also is like for beginning, it's always about box. So let's say we have like a guy. So he looking here, and he see cube, right? And this is like a glass cube, so he can see through it. So when we draw, we kind of want to show his perspective. We want to show what he see, right? What he see from his point of view, POV. And for this, we kind of imagine this like a frame, like in the camera, or it's like for human eye, it's actually field of view. It's a more complex thing, but in a camera, it will be literally frame. So let's say it's like if he looking in the camera, and this camera will have this like rectangular frame. So what we will see from this point of view? we will see this front side of a cube, and if it's transparent, we will see how this cube is diminishes. So we can see its rear side here like this, and then we see this vanishing point on the horizon line. So then, like, if this cube is remain on the same height, let's say it's kind of like floating above ground on this H. If it's remain on the same height, but this camera guy, he moves to the ground. So now he's kind of like leaning on the ground with his camera. So what happened in this case? In this case, like, yeah, if we kind of like, we just take it like here, we will see nothing. We kind of see below a box, and we cannot see even if it's narrow field of view. But maybe like we take it wider, so we can see this way, right? So what happened is like we look at box from below. So now we see it's kind of like this. So now instead of seeing front side, we see both front and bottom side. Hello, Derek. Так. So we can kind of notice a rotation of a box, right, of a cube. So here it was like in front like this. Here it's rotated like 45 degree according to picture frame. So in reality, box not rotated. It's viewer change his placement, right? So he was looking from front, now he looking from below. So viewer, he kind of can walk around, he can look from above, he can look from left, from right, or we can rotate box. So it's like if a viewer standing on same place, but we rotate box, right? So basically it's like all what is happen in a 3D. So all this box logic, right? We have this like relative perception of a space and other objects. It's like when this space or other object is rotated according us or like observer, or when we are rotated according to this object or this space. So it's just important to mention. Later you will see what is the point of it. So, and here is a very nice tool. It's like from artist Krenz. He kind of makes this very handy table, which if you like at the beginning, if you will practice this table, if you will study it, it will be like really, really important for you to improve, like drastically improve very fast. So let's say Krenz Cubes. So what is about? It's about like he kind of like make table of all rotations of this box of a cube. So why you need to practice this table? You need to practice this table because, like I say, it's like most essential form in the 3D. It's a box. If you practice to draw cube, you also kind of practice to draw accuracy. So yeah, maybe because it's easy to draw random boxes, but better for beginning start with cubes, so you also practice to be precise. So here is just about 16 yeah, 16 angles, which is easy to remember, and you need to memorize these angles. You need to draw them, like this will be in the end, I will make it homework for you. So you need to draw them like at least 10 times at beginning, or maybe even more. So he makes this very cool, clever idea. So we have this basic structure of a square divided into 16 smaller squares. You see? So here on the left top angle we have cube, which is like here is just facing us. So kind of like accordion viewer, this cube have like 0 angle. It's kind of natural placement. Then it starts to rotate to the right, like this. And what happened? We start to see his left side, right? And what is important here, what you learn from this table, it's idea of ratio. So what is ratio here? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares on the top, like from top and from side. And like this cube here, we have ratio 1 and 3, right? So it sees like this edge going kind of this. So it's mean like we see front plan of this cube as 3, like 3 boxes, and side of a box we see as only 1 box. So it's a ratio 1 and 3. And here on the side ratio it's like 4, because we see all this. So then we just let's fill it. So then it became like 2 and 2. And actually, like with this hashtag, kind of, you can Google, find this Krenz Cubes. There is a lot of variations of this. Like they have some different students make like 3D models. There's like slight difference between them, but like I say, main idea here, it's remember this ratio, just kind of like practice and establish this concept of ratio in your mind. Because this problem with the beginners and with amateurs, they lack of structure. So you need some efficient tools, you need some useful concepts in your mind. And there is like, because we perspective, it's like anatomy, it's very complex subject. So there is no 100% like easy solution. It's always like kind of at best it's like 80%. So, but it's not about like giving you tool which will make you perfect in perspective immediately. It's about giving you a tool which you also kind of will improve in the time. So you will make it more sharp, and you will be more confident handle this tool. So you see here we have rotation like vertically. Here we have rotation horizontally. And then here we start to make it like mixing, kind of like rotating right and also rotating down. So this kind of like most interesting angles, which why is also cool, this table, because many of these angles people just kind of ignore. Even a professional artist, some like comic book artist, you can notice they just draw in same angles whole career. And this simple tool, this simple table help you just to be more versatile, kind of. So here what happened, it's like we're doing both. We have like you see is like here is moved down, and it also moved to the right. So we get this 3, 1, and 1, 3 ratio. Then here is 3, 1, 2, and 2. Here again 3, 1, and 3, 1. Hello, not okay. So it's kind of, I trying to make video right now for you, like to answer like most basic problems, most basic questions, because people like keep asking me about this like perspective for beginner, and I just trying to make sure everything is here. So if it's too easy for you, then watch other videos. But so often, like for people who think they're already very good in perspective, it's still very helpful to review like very basic stuff, like like relearning, because it can be very frustrating when you think you already understand, but then after some time you realize you actually lack of basics. You actually don't really understand how stuff works. So to prevent this frustration, you just need to understand this kind of how it works for artists. You need to relearn and improve your understanding by coming back to very essentials and kind of like your check your knowledge. And I kind of watch a lot of tutorials and reading books, even when it was something like I think kind of like I'm already know. It still might be like one tip, which is like for me, I never think it this way. Just give me like slight new perspective. And this is kind of golden sometimes, you know. So in here you see like we have 2 and 2 and 1 and 3, 2 and 2, 3 and 1 is table, so I will not even write it again. So you see kind of like it's not so self-evident. That's why you need this table just to train your brain, improve your vision of perspective. So this. Like the same. So we have like so it's like top or like front. Yes, front, right? Let's make me in the color. Maybe it will be more kind of readable. So you see how this front from being like 4 ratio, it's become 3, 2, 1. Same here, it's from 4 ratio. It shrinks to 3, 2, and 1. And then we see like how other planes appear. So this kind of simple table will really like help you to develop this precise vision, this like ratio approach. Так. Because like I was talking in other tutorials also, it's like this, as much as geometry, this also is a concept of a volume, of a form. So when you have like a head, right, let's say face, so you draw it and you already start to imagine like what kind of angle it is. So I'm not building it's like being like too precise, right? But I already have in mind, okay, this is kind of yeah, in this case is like it's it's kind of like this angle. You see, so it's like it's little tilted downwards. So we have like 3:1 ratio here. And it's kind of like 3:1 ratio here. It's like we see little from a right side. So when you see Kim Jong-gi drawing figures or face or any other object in a box, he made it based on a concept of it, not like he see like millimeters, you know, and like he don't have like very precise polygons, kind of like 3D polygon here and there. No, it's just idea of form. It's just idea, because like everybody has this, you know. You can do it immediately right now. Just you know, like smiley face, you know, like say this is front, then here I say it's like this is 1:3 ratio, this is like 2:2 ratio. Then maybe I can make like he's like little downward, right? So it's like 2:2 and 1 let's say 3:1, like this. So it's box logic. It's on a kind of a verbal level. It's not so much like 3D, so directly with the ruler and like 3D software. No, it's just like in words. So write me in the chat if it's clear. So you see, it's like how magically it works. And yeah, and let's say here 3:1. You see, main point here is just like you need to have this concept in your head. That's it. And you already have it right now. But you will able to use it only when you practice it. Because like right now you see it, you understand, but it's not enough. To be able to use it, you need to draw it. So at least like your first step, your homework will be to draw is like 10 times. Let's say draw this table 10 times. Like redraw these boxes. So you can use, yeah, first for sure you need to start to draw with this like a grid. But then you should be able just to draw it freehand, just kind of having in mind this ratio, because it's very basic. It should be easy, like, you know, 2 + 2 = 4. So this you should have like concrete memory of this table, because when you know these angles, it's very easy to draw intermediate angles. You see, right? Так. So then we can talk again about vision, so point of view. So like I say already, we have this relationship between observer and objects, which is also space sometimes. I will talk maybe like in the next video, I will talk about like how these Krenz cubes also explain space. It's really convenient for a space, so it's super universal tool. Like practice it. If you not practice it, it's your fault, because you have a chance, you have this magical, you're lucky, you just witness it. So it's up to you, you want to improve or not. So, and then, we're talking about point of view and vision, and it start to include these elements like horizon line or eye level, and then is appear these three main perspective types, like one vanishing point perspective, two vanishing point perspective, and three vanishing point perspective. It's just like I've been talking about this so many times. It's just like trying to not sleep during this process. So at this first class, I will not talk to depth about it. I will just like give you first like this basic concept, so you can practice it, because to go more deep, to go more far, you should have this practice of very essentials at first. Without drawing, you will have not enough like a brain resources to understand more complex perspective. So you need to draw some basic perspective at first. So like one point perspective. So again, it's all about this three axis. 1 point perspective, basically, it means that the axis, all this, the lines, like all these parallel lines, they will converge into the vanishing point. See, like radiating lines. It's like 0 point perspective. 0 point. It's when we don't have convergence, so it's like also called isometry. It's like I was drawing this box. It's isometry. It's 0 perspective, 0 vanishing points. So it means like z axis all parallel like this, x axis all parallel like this, and y axis all parallel. So this is 3D space without convergence, without vanishing points, 0 point perspective, aka isometry, right? So we can make picture frame here. So this is our 0 point perspective, but in 1 point perspective, we took one axis, like one set of lines, and converge them in a vanishing point. Vanishing point, it's kind of it's abstract thing. It's a place where kind of like where our vision cannot approach, kind of, so it's going far behind are beyond our abilities to see. Same with the horizon line. So horizon line is kind of like all these possible vanishing points where everything we can see just diminishes and became flat in a line like this. So, but when we need to draw, when it's like particular space or particular object, we're talking about uh, vanishing points related to one of third axis in this three-axis system. So z axis converges on the horizon line, y-axis is just parallel vertical lines, and x-axis here is just horizontal lines which is parallel to horizon line. So x, y, and z is like horizon line. Also, what is important to remember, this it's always point of view, right? So it's camera or somebody looking, right? And here on this type one point perspective, the vanishing point, it's also kind of direction of vision. Or it's like where we are looking, where's direction of camera or direction of eyesight. And so I don't know how to say it's like direction. And the horizon line shows our eye level, like viewer eye level or camera level, H kind of, right? So it's like exactly kind of on where is your eyes or this observer eyes. So kind of like showing like, oh, okay, so this, where is his eyes right now? Like from which he's looking to. Так. So then, 2-point perspective. It's when we have two axes conversion, it's like not only z but also x. So let's say z will be here, and we're making this radiating lines again. And x will be here. But y-axis vertical lines, they're still just vertical. So they're like here, y-axis is perpendicular to horizon line. Same here, it's 90-degree perpendicular to horizon line. And 3-point perspective, let's say. Or maybe let's make, yeah, I will do again this 2-point perspective, but to demonstrate, like, we can make horizon line like a higher, this eye level higher. So same again, this is the vanishing point. X vanishing point. And y axis. So what happened? It's not like a viewer now is taller or high, standing higher than here. No, he can be on the same height. It's just like we're moving frame according to his height. So for example, let's say like we have this cameraman standing with the camera on the ground, right? Then we have cameraman like a line on the ground. And we have like nearby here like a cameraman standing on some kind of scaffolding, right? Because they want to have like a higher angle. So we have like three, maybe his vehicle can strike, three different level. Like on the ground, like standing, like I don't know, like 180 centimeter H, for example. And here, this one is like 5 meter, let's say 5 meter high. And this one is just like 10 centimeter high from ground. All of them you can draw like this in the frame. No matter like how high or how low they standing, they can be like this or they can be like this. So it's just about composition of a frame. It's not about like H here. It's just like very basic structure. So it can be like any H, and there is other way how we show H of a character. We show it by drawing relative elements. So like, let's say, I will do this like in the frame horizon line as the high, and have like, let's make it like 1-point perspective. So if I draw is like somebody shoes, like we see somebody legs here. So what happened? It's like I show him that this guy H, which pencil to use? His H, his eye level H is about this this shin. I forgot no, how this bone name. So about shoes high, right? So I show like okay, relative to his legs, camera level or eye level is this high. So here, can like draw like a cigarette like on the ground, some like a coin here, some cracks like on asphalt, dust and stuff. So it's kind of like a ground view. And then there is like horizon line, and maybe I can see there's like somebody, other people very far away walking, or like vehicles, some cars, some buildings, whatever. So it can be like this, like a low plan, or we can use same set of perspective kind of set for this 5 meter H. So, so in this case, I'll say like, oh, okay, so I can calculate where is H, like what is the ratio, like how many people between this um, eye level and the ground. So say like 3 people. So it's I can so it's like 3 figures can be standing here. So I can show here is like okay, I just make any line, I divide it on 3, and I say okay, here figure on the ground. So this guy he's standing on the ground. Then maybe he have like his car, and there maybe I can draw like somebody closer. So it's like 1, 2, 3. It's too high. No, let's make him a fat guy with the luggage. And then it can be like a street. So this is like storefront. It's here. Road turns here. some other buildings. Zebra. So you see kind of like my point, right? So now we have like camera, like we're above ground, like very far. It's like about 5 meter high, and but structure is same. So here what I want to explain is like you need to understand this relationship between h of eye level and composition of a perspective grid in a frame. They're kind of like not dependent in a way, like if you remove horizon line up or down, it's not connected to h of a character or camera h. But about how to draw this different camera view, different camera h, and like how to calculate proportions in the space, I already have video about this, and I also can make like one more video about it, like on a further lesson kind of. On this first class, it's just I want you understand idea of it, right? So don't be confused. So don't be confused like eye level, so it's like h of a camera, and type of perspective, it's different stuff. They are not connected like directly. So and 3-point perspective, it's like we have, as you already can realize, it's like we converge all three axes. So the axis have vanishing point, and I can just draw, like radiating lines to the axis, then x axis, and y axis. We have vanishing point. So usually also when you draw y vanishing point, you always need to find kind of this perpendicular line, like you see like 90-degree to horizon line. So it's kind of like have this point of intersection of y-axis and horizon line. Later it will be very useful for you. So just remember, so there is like one of lines will have this like 90-degree with the horizon line. But then as like with other vanishing points, it just can be like any amount of line converging into this y vanishing point. And sometimes it also can go through other vanishing points. It can be confusing, but it's not important. It's just kind of coincidence. So here also, like in this case, like we can do any kind of location of a camera frame. You can make it like, I don't know, let's see. You can make it like this, or you can make like smaller frame. Like this, like kind of put vanishing points on the edge of a frame. Or frame can be here, like when we don't see vanishing points. So this also will be kind of considered as a 3-point perspective. Like this. So and usually like when teach this 3-point perspective, talking like make an example of down shot and up shot 3-point. So here I show you it's a down shot. It means like vanishing point is below horizon line, and this vanishing point where vertical lines converge in the bottom, this vanishing points call nadir. Nadir. And when we have like vanishing point above horizon line, it's called a zenith. So let me draw here this quickly for you. So this is the X, Y. So this one above horizon line, it's zenith. So, and again, I always like keep in mind about this. One of many lines from Y vanishing point will always be in the 90-degree. So it's just like very helpful. And in the next tutorial, I will explain why. So basically, you always can find kind of a Y vanishing point by making this beam, kind of 90-degree beam from horizon line. Z and X. So, and now like we see how we use these perspective types. We applying this access to building boxes or cubes or boxes, whatever, you know. So it's like this is 3 sets of lines. It's 3 edges of a box. So let's say Z, Y, Z, Y, right? So it's like one side of a box. Then X, 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 here, Y, here, Z. So we build box like this. It's just kind of like a snapping edges to perspective grid. And you can draw it transparent for practice. So this will be also your homework. It's to draw these perspective types and draw boxes within. So, and we can draw like overlapping. So here appear some box like this. And can be like box here. Let's make it different proportion like this. So vertical, Z, X, vertical, vertical, X. Same here. So let's say like this. Can make again. Can make transparent, or you can make them not transparent. Up to you. So in there, like can be like a flying box. Be like overlapping again like this. Well, this 1 point perspective box. So also notice how they always kind of a variant of one of these boxes. This kind of how we train our brain, we need to have this complex perception. It's like when you have perspective grid, you build box here, it can be like distorted like this. So you kind of build in, you draw this box inside this space, following this kind of parameters of a space. But at the same time, you kind of also recall in your mind, like, okay, what kind of ratio box it is. So this one is like kind of like 1:3, but little less. So maybe it's like 0.5 and 3.5, you know? You, by practicing table, you immediately, you subconsciously, you already will have like automatical ratio vision of these boxes. And then, like I say, when you practice drawing these boxes, on a later stage, when you will draw in your stuff, whatever you want to draw, like people, vehicles, whatever objects, no matter like realistic or cartoony, freehand, loose stuff, you will always immediately kind of apply this ratio vision. And this, like here, is a ratio. It's very simple. You don't need to be genius for this. You just need to practice it. It's just like if I tell you, like there is like gravity, or there is like left side and the right side. You have your left hand and you have a right hand, and it's like, wow, okay, nice, now I know. So these things, like for you as artist, you just need to know it. And at the beginning it might be like little like require effort, but by repetition you make it automatic, so you became like automatical. So when you're able to see stuff with a ratio as a 3D form, for you it's also automatically you start to see it as a form in a space, connected to perspective type, connected to perspective grid. So you see what I'm talking about. We have some form, then we see this form with the box logic, and then when you're able to see box logic, you see this box in a space. So it's kind of like a three coordinate kind of three system which you need to connect together. You need to merge them together in your mind. And at first, you doing this by practicing them separately. Like I say, it's like, it's like in a gym, you have like this separate exercise. Like, again, like if you're boxer kind of, right? You have like jumping, running, you training your body kind of. It's a one kind of exercise. Then you have like, you need to train like movement, like how to move your hands, when how you move your body when you make like punches. And then like third type of training is like when you move your kind of sets, right? When you need to like 1, 2, 3, like left punch, right punch, like hook, then you step back, then again. So it's like practice combinations, three different isolated kind of exercise. For what? For then when you will fight, you use all this stuff automatically. You use them all together. You see, so same in the drawing, like you study like this ability to see ratio in a 3D form. Then you study perspective grids, perspective types isolately, like just drawing these perspective grids, drawing boxes inside perspective grids. And more you practice it, more you just able to do this, more convenient, more natural for you it became. And then you will just witness kind of, wait a second, now I can see everything as a 3D form. I just look like in the hand, right? And I say like, oh, okay, this is like top surface. Here I have like right side, left side, bottom. Okay, here I have this like 45 rotation. Here I have like 62 angle rotation. So your brain start to see the world as a 3D form in perspective. This is what you need to develop. This is what it's about. And so, and this is like a riding bicycle. It's just like very complex bicycle. It's not just, you cannot teach monkey to draw in perspective. It's more complex. But like a bicycle, like once you really understand it, which is possible only through practice, then you will never forget it. Now it will become your new, much more kind of creative perspective, perception of the world. Let's see. What a comment I had. Yeah. So I just like trying to. I kind of tired explaining all these beginnings, basics, kind of so many times. It's like it's hard to lost some detail. You lost some small detail, and people will ask you like, oh, I don't understand. So I try just to explain every detail, and also don't make it too boring and too slow. So I hope it's clear, kind of. So yeah, so here you see what I'm talking about. Like when we talk about 1.3, 2.3 point perspective, we're talking about type of perspective when there is like this axis have vanishing point, they're converging. Like zero perspective, 0 point perspective is where axis not converge at all. 1 point perspective is when one axis converge into vanishing point. 2 point perspective is when two axes converge in the two vanishing points. 3-point perspective is when three axes converge in the three vanishing points. So all three axes converging. So, and here we have upshot, right? Upshot. So it's like when is the y-axis is above horizon line. Shot. And downshot when y vanishing points below horizon line. Так, so and same here we can just when you draw this perspective type for practice, draw some boxes, because like I say, you need this experience of drawing in such perspective. This is like bicycle riding again. It's like you can watch a lot of tutorials, you look how other people ride bicycles, but you will learn only when you will ride it yourself. And more you ride, better you understand it. In a perspective, it's very important, very crucial. So talking same about you can feel it. So if you feel it's slow, you need to like you need to concentrate, you need to focus, you feel like it's tiring for you, boring or frustrating, then it means you have too little practice, because it should be very easy. It's just like you wake up in the night and you like like immediately you can draw this without hesitation. It should be like automative, like if you're born with this knowledge. And for people it will always like perceived this way. People will look how easy for you to draw in perspective, and they will think like, oh, you're just kind of talented, you're just born and you already know how to draw in perspective, you know. It should be look this way. So this will be sign that you practice enough. So if you ask me like how often do you need to draw until it feels very easy, you know, like like when you don't even need to think about it, you just like and in reality actually, yeah, of course it will. It's kind of about like 1000 drawing of this stuff, so that's why it's take like months, a year and stuff like this. So uh, so usually we will like jump into farther, you want to draw something more complicated and stuff, but I want just you to know reality. Just be honest to yourself and understand that no matter like how you jump into next complexity, right? You always need to go back to these very simple essentials. Just check yourself. Is it clear for you? Is it already easy for you? So you can like very easily like build perspective grid, like, and you will not make any mistake, like it will not confuse you. Because if you can be confused, it means you don't practice enough. Just kind of carve it in your brain, kind of, you know, it should be very, very clear for you. If it's still require effort, it's mean you not enough practice. It's not like I'm not talking about you not watching enough tutorials or you not buying enough books about perspective. No, I tell about like just making simple drawings. Just you not to draw enough. That's it. Just need to more draw and not looking for tricks and stuff like that. Так. So, and here I already kind of start to touch on this topic about perspective grids, because eventually it's kind of like ultimate perspective. It's about perspective grids. I mean, it's the most practical concept, a treat perspective. Like, it's not about like what what kind of how many vanishing points you use, blah blah blah. No, it's just about building perspective grid. What is mean? It's mean is like you establish condition of space. You establish what is happening with the three axes within frame. So um, at beginning you can consider it like perspective grid. It's actually like every possible case with the three axes, but usually it's people talk about it when we don't have vanishing point in the frame, right? So, oh, we don't have vanishing point here. No problem. You don't need vanishing point. You just need to have clear idea what happened with the three axes. So you can draw box. Can be like cowboy. Dun, 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 dun. It's like that. And do you need just play around? Just spend some time exploring perspective grids. Like what kind of perspective grids can be, how they behave, like how you can, like how box will look in a particular perspective grid and stuff like that. Uh, so, like I say, one point perspective, it's also kind of perspective grid. So, even it have vanishing point inside frame, is still perspective grid. So, see, I just establish kind of behavior of this three axes. So here's horizon line, right? So play around and move like this, like vanishing point to the right, horizon line like up and down. So even like one point perspective can have like many variations. And let's say draw like two boxes. So just practice to follow direction of this axis. So then let's make like 2-point perspective. So we have like X here, Z here, and Y here. And then let's say what will happen when I don't have a vanishing point inside picture frame. And it's like I don't have ability to find it outside of picture frame. It's like I just don't have paper, and I don't want to use like extra paper to find this like far away. No, and I don't need. So what I'm doing, first to use paper to explain it. Let's say here. So here is my picture plan. Here is horizon line, and this is x-axis, right? So lines converging this way. But I cannot see it. What I see convergence. How this line convergent towards vanishing point. So it's kind of question like, oh, how I know exactly like degree of convergence? How can I calculate like proper angle for this x-axis? It's like reservoir. And one answer for it, it's practice. Like more practice, it will be more kind of again natural for you. You will feel it. You will feel like angle. And second answer is I have technique for this. So let's say here we have horizon line. And what we need to do is like when we know horizon line, you establish angle. Because you cannot be wrong with angle. Because it's just perspective grid. Here you cannot be wrong. So I can establish angle. Let's say if I do like this, oh, so it implies like vanishing point not so far from edge of a frame. If I make angle like this, okay, it means like vanishing point very far somewhere. This x vanishing point, right? And yeah, it's important to see, but practically, all you need, it's just this one angle, this angle of this axis, and horizon line, because now you just draw in between like a middle line, so you're making kind of transition between this angle and horizon line. And then you can subdivide this here, and you can subdivide it as many as you want. And then you can just transfer this angle above. So say it's already hard to see here. Let's say we have this angle here, horizon line, and I just transfer. I can use it like this. I just say, okay, it's this distance here and this distance here. So we have 2 points, right? And I have same angle above horizon line. And then I can just continue doing it. So same like this short distance here, this long distance here. Again, same length here, same short length here. And continue. So like, and I can just eyeball it. So if I have this line here, right, try to recreate this distance from here and this distance here. And then again, you can like subdivide it like this. If you're not confident, yeah, you can just like draw it. But later with experience, you will just see it. So, okay, maybe I show you this like slowly again, like technique, how to build perspective grid. So you need to know horizon line, then just one line at first to establish angle between this axis and horizon line. So now you can kind of imagine like this, like a bracket, right? And say like, okay, I can take this distance and this distance, transfer it to here. Other side. And then just subdivide it to have more axis lines. So you can subdivide it in half. It's just more convenient subdivided in halves. And then again subdivide it in half just to get like how much detailed perspective grid you need. So same is like if it's no space here, right, you can do it from here. So same like this distance transfer here, this distance transfer here, and like this. But I just eyeballing it, just draw like that. That's it. So you see kind of what to do. So again here in the middle, then I see already establish this ratio like this here, and I just eyeballing like how it will continue. And then here I see like, okay, it's kind of this. Same with x-axis. Same here. Same here. Because like I say, you cannot be wrong here. It's just about establishing. You making kind of rules for this space. So, but then then you need to be as precise as you can. But you don't need ruler for this. That's kind of my unique technique for you. Can use it. And same, let's make here, this is like 2-point perspective grids, right? We have like 2 vanishing points, but they're outside of picture plane. So in this 2-point perspective grid, y-axis will be just vertical perpendicular to horizon line. So here x OZ. So drawing perspective grids for you should be easy, like a walk, like your walk, or you cook eggs for breakfast. It should be like obvious, like you can say where is sky, where is ground. So you can build any type of perspective grid, and it will not bother you at all. So, and then let's like 3 vanishing point perspective grid. So again, it can be any level horizon line. And what I do, like I remember I was talking about perpendicular y-axis. So somewhere it's always like, let's say here it's vanishing point is below horizon line. It's a nadir, right? So we have this radiating lines, and one of line will be perpendicular, and this line is kind of showing me below this point is a y vanishing point, because this kind of perpendicular 90-degree line to horizon line is just showing me where is y vanishing point. Same like here, I know its vanishing point is here towards this line. It's not here, it's not there. This line showing me it. So, and I say like, okay, it's somewhere there. And like, if I don't have paper here, right, I just kind of create an degree. Then I say, okay, here, and I make kind of mirroring it to other side. And I can even make it wrong. It's no big deal. You have some freedom for a lack of accuracy. It's kind of this perspective grids is very forgiving method of drawing perspective, because you see, anyway, it still look fine. Nobody will notice. It's not like perfectly calculated. That's why I say like, hey, you don't need ruler for this. You don't need all these like expensive tools. You don't need digital programs. No, unless you're making like really like engineering draft. And then again, like if you want to be 100% precise, draw it by hands. It will be dubious. Like right now, if you want to be 100% precise, you will use 3D program. That's it. But if you kind of like a comic book artist or illustrator, you'd making freehand work, it always will be like a problem with accuracy. It always will be some mistakes. So, and when you like make minor mistakes with perspective calculation, you always compensate them with kind of like your ability to draw just like appearance, realistic appearance of objects. Because perspective grids, it's also not thing which you need to like blindly abide. It's just a tool which help you to organize composition. Так. So, and same like I establish X, like I showed previously. And Z. So here it's just like when you draw down shot with a so low horizon line, it just like became like it's kind of, if it's not curvilinear perspective, it will look like little surrealistic. But curvilinear will be in the next video, not in this first one. This is a linear perspective grid. Say, yeah, maybe you can make it like rooftops of buildings. Or let's here make a box. And then, okay, what also possible? It's when we tilt camera. So let's say if here camera is just like this, so vertical axis is this way. But if you tilt like or let's say like rotate according on a y-axis, rotate on the y-axis camera, so this vertical axis and horizon line kind of will be tilted in the picture frame. So let's say like this horizon line tilted linear on the left, and again I draw this like 90-degree, and I show is like again it's like y vanishing point below horizon line, so I have this conversion this direction, or it can be tilted that way, and again with this I just showing direction where is vanishing point. Then again can establish z-axis, x-axis. Here's like that. So let's say again, let's do tilted horizon lines, but this time y vanishing point above horizon line. So also like when you able to draw very fluently perspective grids, this will be point when you don't need draw them anymore. So it's like if you want, you will be able to draw without perspective grid like Kim Jong-gi, because you will see these grids like a Neo in the Matrix or like Terminator. You will just see these grids kind of in a space. It will also, of course, require some practice to be confident with this, like without drawing them at all. But it's a kind of only way how you can get to this ability, kind of being like very clear and fluent with perspective grids, because all the time it will distract you. This your like um, lack of practice kind of will kind of you will spend too much energy to recall these very basic principles instead of focus on your like creative endeavors, like when it's like, oh, I want to draw some cool scene, like car in perspective or a dude with a rifle. So instead of drawing these guys, you will bother with perspective, like figuring out like how to make it properly. And when you're fluent, you just very, I mean, you don't spend any energy for this. It's easy for you. So instead of worrying about perspective, you really focus on the creative part of work. This kind of a reason for it. So, так, let's say again here. Oop, it's too much. And then also, like when you draw more of these perspective grids, you will not confuse anymore with all these lines. Because like before for you, it's maybe like, oh my God, it's so many lines on the paper. I already like kind of forget what am I drawing, right? So, okay, let's finish this first video here. It's all these concepts will basically leading you to practice of perspective grids. So this linear perspective grids, 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point perspective. Homework for you, like draw like 20 this kind of frames with a perspective grid. So you draw perspective grid, you establish this 3 axes, and you draw boxes. It don't need to be cube, like don't worry to make it proper cube, just kind of a random box. Just practice to establish this box structure into perspective grid. And be slow, no rush, make sure you draw them properly. This is very essential. Don't need just like, oh yeah, okay, and after show this and everything wrong. And it's like, what's the point to make a wrong practice? Watch again like my video, how to improve in art. And there I was talking about this like point of practice. It's establish neural network. So it should be perfect practice. You should like make it slow properly to make sure like you make all steps properly and your brain will remember it. It will be like memory of success. It's like a small thing, it's a very basic, but it's your success. You'll make it right, and your memory will memorize it, and it will become like part of your toolbox. Kind of, it will be now your um, default system, kind of so called. Okay, so 20 homework. Okay, homework. Um, yeah, let's do here. Okay. Make it like super clear. Homework 10 Krenz boxes. So draw whole set, whole table 10 times. You can draw it like at least twice. It should be with this. I drew it already so many times, you know. Don't be a drama queen, kind of like, oh, it's so boring, I need to draw again and again. Yeah, you need to draw again and again when you already think you understand, and when it's already easy for you. Yeah, you need to draw it again and again and again, and 100 times more and 1000 times more eventually, kind of like in your life, kind of, right? You will draw the stuff like 1000 times. And 20 perspective grids. This kind of perspective grids which I demonstrate. So you can just literally copy after me, or you can make your version perspective grids. Just make sure it's drawn properly. Don't draw just nonsense. Okay, see you next video.
Madness. This is
Chain Bone